the moment where we talked with Jessica Flo about her hanky pancreas idea for turning diabetes compliance into fashion, creating patches and insulin pumps that could be worn as a fashion statement, which allowed you to be out about your condition, which then meant that your friends sort of understood your limitations and were like watching out for you, and you looked cool. That just, and the way she just sort of described it is, why didn't people think of this before? You know, she was both the genius of Transform and the fun of it as well. And then talking with Dr. Cragen, this guy who's probably seen more people die than anyone, you know, on planet Earth right now. He told this unbelievable story of this mother dying in front of her two daughters, Asian mom, Asian daughters. And you know, there's this tendency sometimes for us who aren't doctors to ask, you know, what's it like to, you know, open somebody's body, or what's it like to, you know, be there at the end, or what's it like to work in the ER kind of thing. There's this sort of voyeuristic romanticism about these moments. And Cragen told this story about this woman dying, and I said, and you were in the room? And he said, yes. And I said, so when she finally passed away, what did you do? And he said, I looked over at the two daughters, who looked at me, and they didn't speak a lot of English, and they said, what do we do now? And you know, at that point, I'm like, what was his answer? And he said, and John, I didn't have an answer for them, but that wasn't my job. My job was simply to listen to their question. And I mean, just the ability for someone to take a sacred moment like that and infuse it with both his medical expertise and his sense of humanity, you know, and the audience was like, you know, on the floor. I mean, they could barely move after that presentation. And, you know, he's just talking about a day at the office, not in a dismissive way, but when we just sort of knocked on the door and said, what's it like to be in your life? He said, oh, come on in and look around. And you know what? It's your life too. And that is the kind of moment that you can have at Transform that I think is really unlike any other conference.